This is Colombia.
A country famed with a difficult history that has emerged as one of the biggest tourist hotspots in South America in the past couple of decades. As the high crime rates have now become a thing of the past, the beauty and culture of this amazing country is now what is most important. And in this video, we will show you just how far the gateway country to South America has come.
We are Mark and Asa, and Colombia is the last country we are visiting on our South American trip. Be sure to check out all of our videos we made about the incredible places we have visited on this stunning continent if you haven't already. But it doesn't mean this is our last video about South America. We have way too many tips to share, so keep an eye on the channel or turn on notifications not to miss out on them. Anyway, time to get stuck into Colombia. It is well known that most of the lure lies in the north of the country, but seeing as we crossed the border from Ecuador at the very south, it gave us the opportunity to stop at some interesting places on the way up the Pan American Highway.
After taking a long bus journey from Ipiales to Cali and then another not so long bus journey from Cali to Armenia, we were in a good spot to head to two of Western Colombia's most popular tourist spots. Tour of a Colombian coffee farm and also visit the highest palm trees in the world. Now, if you've been to these places, you'll know that they're more commonly accessed from the small village of Salento, and that's true. But we chose to make the beautiful town of Armenia our base for two main reasons. Number one, the accommodation was cheaper, and as it was Asia's birthday, we knew Armenia had better options to celebrate a birthday than Salento.
To say a big happy birthday to Asia, leave a like and please subscribe to the channel.
To get to Salento, we took a bus and within 40 minutes we had arrived at Salento Square, Plaza de Bolivar. It was then an easy task to get on the back of a 4x4 to get to Finca El Ocaso coffee farm. Over 10 billion kilograms of coffee is produced globally every year, and Colombia is the world's third largest producer, behind only Vietnam and Brazil. Coffee takes in over $3 billion per year for Colombia, making it the third biggest export for the country. There are many coffee farms scattered all over the country, but Salento is famous for its coffee plantations.
During our tour, which cost just €8 per person, we got taken through the coffee production process firsthand and even made our own coffee to drink at the end. One thing we need to recommend if you are coming here is to wear insect repellent. For once, we forgot and paid the price with an itchy few days. We are both huge coffee drinkers, so if you're like us and coffee is something you really enjoy, you'll love this kind of tour. There is a premium tour that costs more than twice as much per ticket, and that one includes a bit more coffee tasting, but for us, the standard tour was satisfactory enough. The next morning, we headed back to Salento for a visit to Cocora Valley, home to a very special species of trees.
Quindio wax palm trees are the tallest palm trees in the world, reaching a height of up to 60 meters and can only be found in the forest of the Andes. The tallest of these unique trees are situated right here in Cocora Valley and really are an amazing sight. What are you doing, Mark?
These are the tallest palms in the world, and now in this picture my palm is the tallest in the world.
When yesterday we arrived in Salento, we've seen so many people queuing up. We were thinking, what? It's gonna be so touristy, and then it was a little bit less people today, but it's quite touristy, but you can still find some quieter places like here, like nobody was interrupting us, like people taking pictures here, this is our spot. Overall, I think this place is very beautiful, and I've never seen palms taller than this because these are the tallest palms in the world. So I think this place is worth visiting, but just be prepared, it's gonna be very touristy.
Yet another long bus journey north took us to the second biggest city in Colombia, Medellin. Known as the City of Eternal Spring because of its temperate weather, Medellin gives you a real taste of Colombian culture. A walk into the city centre to the famous Plaza Botero will leave you feeling impressed and, to be honest, a little bit confused as to what you see. I'm talking about the strange sight of these robustly sculpted naked statues that are posed all over this unique park. We later read that they are the work of world-renowned Colombian artist Fernando Botero and are important features in this colourful city's cultural centre.
Sticking with interesting statues, another thing that Mark was really interested to see in Medellin was the statue of Andres Escobar.
Andres Escobar was a Colombian defender who unfortunately will always be best known for being shot dead aged 27 for scoring an own goal against the USA in the 1994 FIFA World Cup. After scoring the own goal, Colombia were subsequently eliminated from the tournament and Escobar received a big backlash. A few days later, Escobar was approached by 3 men on his way back to his car after leaving a nightclub. One of the men pulled a handgun and shot him 6 times, shouting "goal," representing each time the commentator said it when he scored his own goal against the USA. Escobar was left for dead on the ground and 120,000 people attended his funeral. His death is marked each year with Colombians bringing pictures to football matches of him. The statue was erected in 2002 in his hometown of Medellin in his memory.
There are other things to see in Medellin, such as the popular activity of visiting Comuna 13. But unfortunately I came down with a bug, that's why I didn't have a chance to go there. These things happen. Another long-haul bus journey landed us in the first spot along Colombia's Caribbean coast, the walled city of Cartagena.
Cartagena's historical centre is vibrant and colourful with good vibes around the squares and parks. It's close to the coast, so it's convenient for accessing the coastal walkway along the busy Avenida Santander Road. You can explore the city's colonial buildings and take a look at the walls that were once an important form of defence. One thing we noticed about Cartagena outside of the historical centre was how much rubbish there was along the streets, the sides of the roads and even near the sea, which was quite sad to see.
Unfortunately, this would be a continuing theme of northern Colombia as we found this problem pretty much everywhere we went, including the inner city of Santa Marta. Santa Marta, apart from the obvious rubbish problems, is actually a pretty nice place to spend a few days. There are lots of nice bars, restaurants, a good nightlife. We enjoyed a few morning runs along the scenic promenade and found it was actually a good place to pick up a few souvenirs.
Santa Marta is the starting block for many tourist trips to Tayrona National Park, which is the main attraction on Colombia's northern coast. And to get there, you need to go to the bus station beside the market, which we'll link in the description box. We booked Angel Lodge just outside the entrance of Tayrona National Park for just 21 € per night for a private room with a balcony with a jungle view. This place even had a swimming pool, and it was a 1-minute walk to the entrance of the national park.
Before talking about the park itself, we have a few tips to ensure your time in the park goes smoothly. The park opens at 8 AM, so we would recommend being there at 7:45. The place can seem a little bit touristy at the entrance and for the first part of the hikes, but don't worry, it does scatter a bit after that and it's not actually too bad when you get on the trails themselves. Entry is about 12 € per person.
You will have to buy insurance just outside the main entrance, even if you have your own travel insurance, but it's just 60 cents, so it's fine.
It is cash only, so make sure you bring cash from Santa Marta because around Tayrona there are no ATMs.
Do bring some snacks, but there are lots of places to buy some snacks and water and even some restaurants, so don't worry too much about this.
Just after the entrance you will see little minivans and they just cost €1 to take you to the start of the hikes. It's actually 5 kilometers, so if you choose not to take the van, you'll end up having to walk 5 kilometers before you even start your trails to the beach.
Okay, so as we mentioned, it was quite crowded at the entrance and at the start of the hike, which made us a bit disappointed as we don't really enjoy places that are overly touristy. To be fair though, after around 30 minutes of the hike, we began to find some freedom from the crowds and started to enjoy the walks. The trails are gorgeous. After around 45 minutes of hiking, you will hear the sounds of the ocean crashing against the shore, which doesn't quite feel normal considering you just spent the last while trekking through the jungle.
There are a few beaches you come to along the way, but the main beach everyone is trying to get to is El Cabo San Juan. The place is stunning and is well worth the 2-hour hike to get there. We would say it's probably the nicest beach we've seen in South America so far. Sorry, Brazil.
Because we were on the ball early and are naturally quite fast hikers, we seemed to inadvertently win the race and found ourselves there when it really wasn't that crowded at all. A fella in our lodge the night before told us it would be crazy busy, so we were really pleasantly surprised when it wasn't. We stayed there for a couple of hours and we will admit it was getting more crowded when we got there, but genuinely not as bad as the guy had described.
But it's a fairly tough hike, like, because it's 2 hours to the main beach and then you sit in the sun for a while, have a wee beer, and then you have to walk back 2 hours and must be 32, 33 degrees. I'm wrecked, honestly I'm wrecked. If you plan on doing a multi-day trip into Tayrona National Park, we would suggest camping at El Cabo San Juan, as the tents there seem really comfortable and we can imagine it being a pretty good time after dark. You can also camp at other beaches, but I really think that this one would be the best crack to stay at.
So, after all that busy touristy stuff, we needed to break away from the hustle bustle, and we think we found one of the best hidden gems in the northern Colombia at our next destination.
So we left our accommodation at Tayrona National Park. We actually left our suitcases there for 2 nights. It cost us $2 for the 2 suitcases for the 2 nights, so definitely worth it. And then we weren't sure if we were going to get a motorbike taxi or a bus from Tayrona to Mendihuaca, but we just hopped on the bus and it cost like 60 cents each, and we're here 800 meters away, so we're just walking down the road now.
Mendihuaca Beach is a small strip of beach just on the east of Tayrona National Park, and in our opinion is a must visit.
To be honest, the beach itself is not the best beach you will ever visit. You can swim there, but the water isn't that blue and the waves can be a bit strong. But this place is more about relaxing beside the sea rather than in it. We stayed at Cama Chicha and barely moved from there the whole weekend. Our room was right on the beach and we had our own private hammocks that looked out onto the sea. All we had to do was step outside to eat delicious food, sip a cocktail and take in the relaxed beach vibes this area is known for.
How is life, Mark?
Life is not bad.
This is the part where we would usually tell you about things we did at a certain location, but this is pretty much all we did for the duration of our stay and we do not regret it.
The last stop on our Colombian itinerary was a trip to the tiny village of Minca. Things to do here include visit to Pozo Azul waterfall and Marinca waterfall. There are a few different ways to get to each one. The most popular option is to hop on a motor taxi, but we chose to rent our own motorbike. We would definitely recommend this option as it gave us so much freedom. One thing about renting your own bike though is that the roads to both waterfalls are not in good shape. So if you don't have any experience driving a motorbike, maybe it would be a better idea to take a motor taxi to each waterfall and walk back into Minca.
As for the waterfalls themselves, they weren't really our cup of tea as they were full of tourists, especially the Marinca waterfalls, as we didn't arrive there until the afternoon, which was probably the busiest period. We did have a better experience at Pozo Azul as we went very early in the morning and pretty much had the place to ourselves. So, if you're going to either of these attractions, go early to give yourself the best chance of getting an authentic experience. The best thing to do in Minca, however, is not to visit the waterfalls. It is to catch an amazing sunset from one of the many viewpoints up in the hills surrounding the village. As we had friends staying in Casa Loma hostel, we chose to head there on our final night. It was the perfect place to chill out with a drink, have a chat and witness a picture-perfect sunset we will never forget.
Minca is also a great place for some nice places to eat, and we will put all the places we liked in the description box down below.
That is pretty much it for our Colombian adventures. We really like Colombia, but probably found it a little bit too touristy at some places for our liking. Also, we noticed a serious problem with rubbish along the sides of the roads, especially in places like Cartagena and Santa Marta, so that really wasn't nice to see.
Overall, we have mixed opinions about Colombia, but we will definitely recommend you a trip to this beautiful country. And let us know in the comments your opinion about this. And we are officially finished with our travels in South America until we come back to Peru one day. But it doesn't mean the videos are finished. As I mentioned before, there will be much more videos about all the tips and our favorite experiences on this amazing continent. And after that, we're also heading to Central America, so don't miss out on those videos.
In the meantime though, we once again hope you enjoyed watching our journey through Colombia, and if you go there, we're sure you're going to have something to remember just like us.